Who are the most important Sixers on the 2022-23 roster? Today, we are breaking down our 7th most important Sixers, expectations for this season, and more on the latest Party on Broad. What is happening, guys? Welcome to Party on Broad. Guys, if you're new to the channel, smash that subscribe button, hit the like button. If you're watching us live, please be sure to comment, and let's jump right in. My man, Austin, over there, one of the best Sixers followers, period, is joining me, as always, at NBA Crow on Twitter. Go give him a follow. What's up, Austin?
What's going on, Dibes? It's always a pleasure.
Love it, love it. So here we go. So we are on number 7. Just a quick recap. Austin had George Niang at 10, Matisse Thybulle at 9, Paul Reed at 8. I had Isaiah Joe at 10, Danuel House Jr. at 9, and Matisse Thybulle at 8. So, Austin, who is your 7th most important Sixer to the 2022-23 season?
For me, it is none other than Danuel House Jr. He has the biannual exception that the Sixers will not have again until not next offseason, but the following offseason. So he's carrying some meaningful money for them. That means there are expectations for him. Averaged 5.9 points, 2.6 rebounds for the Jazz last season. He's somebody who has functioned quite well for his career next to James Harden. So I think it's a sensible signing in that regard. I don't know that I believe he is inherently important by himself, because I think he's a replacement level player. What I do think is important is that he plays better next to the likes of James Harden. There is historical data that says that. So I think he's important as in tandem with James Harden. Your thoughts on? Well, I guess you already have your thoughts on Danuel House. You shared them in a previous video.
I like Danuel House a lot, man. I think he's an underrated signing for the Sixers this offseason. I mean, he's a guy that I've liked for a long time, and I'm happy to see him come to Philly. But like my take, and I look at my rankings. I had Matisse Thybulle over Danuel House Jr. But when we did our rotation show just a few days ago, I had Danuel House Jr. getting more minutes than Matisse Thybulle. Like, what's your minute projection for Danuel House Jr.? Because when I look at mine, I'm in that somewhere around 20 to 23 minutes per game for Danuel House. What's your thoughts?
I kind of envision him in the James Ennis role, like 18 to 22 minutes a game. I think it's going to be largely a function of how well he shoots off of James Harden's fat passes. Like, Danuel House is going to have an opportunity to space the floor, move freely within a motion offense, relocate to different shots and off screens, and as the ball flows from the empty side to the strong side, they're going to have a lot of opportunity there for him to get up shots. So, I think really it's a huge opportunity for him. And if he shoots the ball 37% or better from 3, he's going to get a lot of minutes. Certainly, he's going to outplay Matisse Thybulle if Thybulle can't shoot. Last season with the Jazz, he shot 42% from 3, 74% at the rim in about a little less than 500 minutes. 87% of his shots came between the rim and the three-point line. So he's like an analytical darling, right? Really good shot value. He gets right to the rim for high value, for easy high value shots. or he takes threes, which is a maximum point
Yeah.
value shot. So he's efficient. He takes analytically valuable shots. He's a darling in that regard. He also had a block percentage of 1.3 last year, which is 94th percentile for wings. So a stout, credible defender on the perimeter. And he has a track record, again, like I said, and I think just getting as many pieces next to James Harden, who James Harden is comfortable with, is so critical to unlocking what he can be at his best. Because if James Harden is functioning at his best, you already know what you have in Joel, and then Tobias. You think you know what you have in Tyrese. So the one variable that if you can maximize that is James, and if he's playing at his best, this team's going to go really far.
Yeah, I like Danuel House Jr. I mostly like Danuel House Jr. and his switchability. I think there's gonna be a lot of different lineup combinations that Danuel House Jr. will be able to get on the court off that bench and play with James Harden off that second unit. I'm really excited for Danuel House. We have I Love Weed in the house saying, "What up, Crockpot? Go Cowboys! Get out of here! Get out of here with that Cowboys nonsense." So yeah, I fully agree. And you talk about defensively, you touched on it. He held opponents at 38% shooting from three last year from the field overall. So there's definitely a lot of kind of positive vibes I have with Danuel House Jr. and his impact in 2023. I'm going to start off with my dude, and he is the Anthony Melton for me. I'm really excited about DeAnthony Melton. He shot 40+% in the catch and shoot last season, nearly 50% Austin from three in the corners. He's a plus defender. I think that's the biggest thing. He had 4.5 deflections per 36 minutes last year. For perspective, Matisse Thybulle had 5.3 deflections per 36, so he was just under that mark. He had the second highest steal percentage in the NBA last year. And when he was with the Grizzlies, the dude was a positive on the court, a 5.6 net rating last year. And over the last 4 seasons, DeAnthony Melton's a plus 16 with the Grizz. And he was a 4.6 net when sharing the court with John Morant. So there's a lot of really intriguing things that DeAnthony Melton brings to the bench, but also in different lineup combinations with Joel Embiid and James Harden. And I would not be shocked at all to see DeAnthony Melton play like 23 to 26 minutes per game. We all know that Sixers bench was horrible. They were dead last in points per game in the playoffs at the bench. And I just vividly remember watching teams like the Heat or especially in the playoffs that are just rotating wing after wing after wing, athlete after athlete. And the Sixers had none of that. Danny Green goes down. There was no response. There was nothing they had personnel-wise. I guess Shake. But come on, this is definitely a huge step up from Shake. So I think DeAnthony Melton is for real. I think it was a great trade. And probably we don't talk enough about that addition. Am I going too overboard on DeAnthony Melton, Austin?
No, I actually have him higher. Obviously, I have him higher because he isn't on my list yet. But I don't remember the last time the Sixers had a guard that could vertically space the way that DeAnthony Melton can, like just get up, and rise above everybody. And, that really is huge to have that as at a position where you're required to do more slashing and catching on the weak side, attacking a closeout, and then detonating at the rim. And I think, having a guy that can do that, but also not be so confined to that skill set because he can't shoot. Like DeAnthony Melton is an improving shooter. He still has some room. He still has a lot of room to grow, obviously, but a really capable shooter. He's gotten better from the corners. I really like everything that that he can bring to this team. It's really going to be a matter of how does it hold in the playoffs, and can he sustain that shooting for extended periods of time, or is he going to be hot and cold? And then when he's hot and cold, is he going to be somebody who can't play that much when he's cold?
Yeah. John's in the house. What's going on, John? Says Melton is a guard, not a wing. I agree. I do think
I think when you're 6'2" with a 6'8" wing, the 6'8" wingspan, you can play across 3 positions.
Yeah, he's definitely going to be able to defend 1 through 3, depending on matchups. I'm not worried about that at all. So yeah, D'Anthony Melton, man. How many minutes do you think he gets? What's your like quick 5? I'm in that like mid 20s. Is that reasonable?
I think we're at 22 to 28.
Okay, sounds good.
So split the difference, 25.
Okay, 25 it is. John says 24 minutes per game for D'Anthony Melton. So we're all on the same kind of wavelength. I think it's going to have a huge impact on this team. I can't wait to see this guy play. I think it's going to be a fan favorite too, Austin. I think people are going to love D'Anthony Melton in many respects. That basically wraps up our number 7. Any other final thoughts on our number 7s here, Austin?
That's all I got, Dives.
All right, so that concludes our number 7 most important Philadelphia 76ers to next season. Stay tuned for our number 6. Guys, please be sure to smash that like button. Help us out. And be on the lookout for our next show. Tomorrow night, we'll be doing an Eagles preseason preview. That will be at 9 o'clock. So be on the lookout for that. It is a crossover show with my guy Dylan. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So thank you, everyone, for watching. Austin, do you want to plug anything?
NBA content is starting to ramp back up soon. So be on the lookout for some articles, diving into some questions heading into the new season. Training camp starts, I think, next month. And the schedule should be coming out in the next 2 weeks.
Love it, love it, love it. Follow my man Austin on Twitter at NBA Crow. You'll thank me later. Wow, John says Danuel House is going to start. I definitely think there's potential for that, like here and there, depending on like injuries or got COVID or who knows what. But that's a take.
I'm not going to be as pleasant as you are. He's not starting.
Yeah,
it's not happening. It's not.
Yeah,
I'm almost certain that it will be James, Tyrese, Tobias, PJ, and Joel. Obviously.
This is where my next question. Who would you start if you had the choice, though? House or Thibault?
House.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man. Like you said, over 6 3-point attempts per 36 minutes, like over the last couple seasons, man. Danuel House Jr. is a great fit for this roster, and I know the Sixers are going to want to jack up more threes this season. So, again, thank you, everyone, for watching. We will see you on the next show. My man, Austin, over there at NBA Crow. I am Dobbs, Mr. Crockpot. Stay awesome, everyone.